Welcome to the McAllister Report. We join John McAllister, top football evaluator, as he shares wisdom and interviews coaches and athletes from around the country. Enjoy today's podcast.
Hello, I'm John McAllister with the John McAllister Report. And today we're going to go into the Coach's Corner section and talk with an old friend. He came to my camps and combines when he was in high school. And I saw him at the University of Findlay his junior year playing. And now he happens to be a graduate assistant at Wake Forest University. Neal Davis has, in a sense, overcome a lot of odds and to really be climbing the ladder. And best thing is he's not forgotten who he is and how he got there. But he's a tremendous young man. I'm excited for him. I talked to him at the Ohio High School Football Clinic last weekend, and he agreed to do a video podcast, and I think you'll like what he has to say and respect where he's been. So if you sit back and enjoy my video podcast with Neal Davis, originally from Teays Valley High School in Central Ohio, and now a GA with Wake Forest University football. Today, my guest is Neal Davis, and you have probably in general, except for his parents and family and Teays Valley people, don't really realize how important Neal Davis is to the Wake Forest football program and also how important he has climbed the ladder so far. Neal, how are you today?
I'm doing well, John. How are you?
Good, and we'll start in real quickly. You're down in Wake Forest. What's the temperature right now?
Oh, I think it's in its 40s. I want to say low to mid 40s here. I think it's going to get up to about 55 today, I hope.
That'll help, right? Tell me, you're a graduate assistant for the offensive line at Wake Forest.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
me what a graduate assistant does.
Yeah, so, often it's referred to as just a GA. Here at Wake Forest, I'm kind of like the assistant offensive line coach. So during practice, Coach Tobacco, our offensive line coach, he'll take half the group. I'll take the other half. He might take the guards and centers. I'll take the tackles. And during Indy, we kind of split up equally. And you're just like an offensive line coach. You're coaching the O-line. You're correcting them. You're meeting with them at times. But also the big difference too is you break down the tape. So during the week, I'm always working ahead on, teams we're going to play 3-4 weeks down the line. And I'm breaking that tape as the games are being played, kind of getting the data in, the fronts, the blitzes, all that good stuff. So then when we get to the game prep, it's already done and it's already there for us to analyze and do.
So, and you are a graduate assistant at Wake Forest. Has a lot of responsibilities, ton of responsibilities.
Yes, sir.
So that's huge to you. So you get not only great experience, but you're getting great knowledge, and you're working for a very good head football coach.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Yes, sir.
All of those. Okay, that's where you are now. Let's talk about how you got there.
Yes, sir.
I met you when you were at Teays Valley High School.
Yep.
And now you're a little bit thinner than you were then.
Yes, sure. Yes, sir. I've as an offensive lineman, you go one of two ways and you're done playing. You either go up or you go down. I told myself I'm going down. So
you're going down, man.
I'm down almost 40 pounds since when I played. So
at Teays Valley, tell me your measurements at Teays Valley, because I'm going to lead into something here. What were you at Teays Valley, weight-wise? Size.
Yeah, I was 6 foot, 285 pounds.
6 foot and 285 pounds.
And barely 6 foot. I mean, we're talking just on the dot now.
You're an honest man because I remember you being 5'11".
No.
But you're
On the
6 foot.
dot.
Okay, you're good because you came to my camps and combines. I
Yep.
know that, and I told you earlier. Your dad is a good dude.
Yes, he
He
is.
he supported you
Yes,
all
sir.
every place, and I'm sure you're proud of him.
I am.
And I would
Thankful for him.
pretty sure he's proud of you. Okay, you were at Teays Valley. Now let's talk. What would be the hangups of getting recruited?
Too short, too small. Every big time school, love how you play, love your work ethic, love all that stuff. Too short, too small, maybe a hair too slow. But really the size was the big hang up.
I'm sure, and I think the problem, you kind of said it too earlier, is that I think sometimes when offensive linemen or defensive linemen are shorter and heavier, I think colleges worry about them getting exploding, getting bigger,
For sure.
and like you said, okay, how does that affect you then when you recruit players now?
Yes, I mean it's wild how things change. At this level, we're looking for the biggest and the best players. So, like for instance, if you're a sub-6'2" guy playing offensive line, you better be really good. You better make up for that size in different areas. So, one thing I really like about our offensive line coach Nick Tabacchi here and how he evaluates guys, he really stresses the importance of arm length. And so like if we're recruiting shorter guys. Our left tackle last year, he was probably 6'1" some change. He's going to have his pro day in here in a few weeks. But he's got long arms. He's got 33, 34-inch arms, which allows him to play and create that space. So I think, but he's also really twitchy. He's really athletic. So he might not be your prototypical, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" kid, but he's making up with it with elite athleticism, and he's got really long arms.
You better have that.
Correct. So, seeing that at this level, you can take a smaller kid at times, but they better make up for it in different ways. Right. We've got a center here. He really reminds me a lot of myself. It's the way he plays the game, his football IQ, his toughness. He's a 6'2" kid, and he doesn't have the longest arms, but he's just so gritty. He's so tough. He's so gritty, and he's so smart, and he's so strong. So that's how he makes up for it. So every kid, if they're going to be what you would call a tweener, John, or not quite big enough, they better have some attributes that are just absolutely elite, that kind of make up for that deficiency, to say the least.
I think one of the things that gets overlooked is smartness. They got to be football smart and smart.
Yep.
I think that more and more we're seeing that. How guys stay in the NFL for so long, the big linemen, because they're smart and they know how to work everything. Okay, that's great. Great knowledge. Now tell me, you went to the University of Findlay then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who recruited you from Findlay real quick?
Yeah, so the main recruiters were Corey Allen, he was the offensive line coach at the time. He's now the head coach. And then Jason Macrinos, he was the defensive coordinator at the time there. Coach Macrinos was my area recruiter. And then Coach Allen, obviously, he got heavily involved.
So you started 40 games plus at Findlay.
Yes, sir.
You started your freshman year.
Yes, sir.
You started the first game of your freshman year, I think.
Yes, sir.
And I saw you over there. I went to a game and they let me walk around the sidelines. I saw you. And tell me, what's the importance of Division II football?
So Division II football, it's still really good football. The fact that they're able to give scholarships makes it so highly competitive. And to be honest with you, when it comes to the actual football player, I've coached at the FCS level. I've coached now at the FBS level. In my opinion, the biggest difference between just your D2 guys and your D1 guys are truly it's a couple inches. You know what I mean? Like, our offensive lines at Findlay, were, so we had like a 1-6-4 guy, 6'3" guy, some 6'2" guys, and some of those guys, arguably they could have probably played in the MAC. You know what I mean? They got passed up on, something happened. And then typically your longer guys, I play with a guy, he's from Northwest Ohio, Tenora High School, Logan Bailey. He's a 6'5", 6'6" kid, but coming out of high school, he was 220 pounds.
Yeah.
So like, his deficiency to say coming out of high school was just his weight and his size, obviously not his height and his length, but his, MAC schools aren't going to take a 220 ounce lineman all the time. You know what I mean? So, but he developed into a really good player, was an All-American there. He got Coach Wagner, the strength coach, got him up to 300 pounds. So, it's very competitive ball. But it's also, you can earn a scholarship at that level. I'm one to say, like, they're looking for smart kids. They're looking for good kids. And the best thing about D2 football is they're able to combine aid. So if you're a smart kid and you're a good player, they can stack the aid up, and you can pay nothing. I mean, I ended up having a full ride there for 3 years. Like,
wow, that's really good. I'm a big Division II proponent.
Yep.
Because I think just what you said, and I think something else that's really important. Pro scouts come through there every year.
For sure.
I mean, just like they do it. Well, I think just like they do at the major level, they may not beat it up dig on it up in as much information, but they come through.
For
they
sure.
see players and they watch players.
At Findlay, we had, and it was cliche. It was kind of a recruiting tactic when we first got there. Coach Teays told us, hey, every NFL team had been through the building in the last 3 years. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Everybody's card was up in a little box. But, my junior and senior years, we had NFL prospects. Jason Moore plays for the Chargers right now. He's a Cleveland guy. Andrew Ogletree, he's a Dayton guy. He was drafted by the Colts last year. And in my last 2 years there, like, I saw a scout every day during spring practice, every day during fall camp. They came through, and they weren't evaluating me, but they were evaluating these guys, and those guys were seen.
That's good. That's really good. Then you graduated from there and you went to East Carolina
Eastern Illinois.
I'm sorry, I knew that. Eastern Illinois. Who was the head coach?
So the head coach there was Adam Cushing.
Great guy.
He's now the O-line coach at Duke. Great guy.
Yeah. You're going to compete against him a little bit.
Yeah, we compete. Yep.
What, you went there as a GA?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many years?
So I was there for about 18 months. So about a year and a half.
Okay. So what do they do? Because that's what you are now.
Yeah.
What do they do?
So, it's complete. Honestly, like, my job here and my job at Eastern Illinois are very different.
Let's go a typical GA, because honestly, we talked earlier, you're not a typical GA at Wake Forest. You have a lot more responsibilities, right?
For sure.
Okay, if a young guy is thinking GA, what should he be thinking now?
So he should be ready for it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the smaller levels, you are everything. Okay. Yeah. You're a recruiting GA. You're an operations GA. You're an academic GA. You're the football GA. So at Eastern Illinois, my day would consist of meal checks, class checks, mandatory study hall because a guy missed class at 5 a.m., weight room setup, field cleanup, manually entering the film, all kinds of other stuff on top of the actual football stuff. So that's what you're going to see at the smaller levels. And then at the FBS level and the Power 5 levels, there's actual guys that are doing those other activities, the class checks, the stuff like that. But at a smaller level, at Findlay and Eastern Illinois, our GAs did everything. You know what I mean? They were the nitty gritty guys. They were doing bed checks at times. We do that here too, but you're doing.
What's the benefit of that?
The benefit of that, to be honest with you, like, it humbles you. You know what I mean? and honestly, it weeds guys out. You know what I mean? Like, you truly, I mean, at Eastern Illinois, I mean, there was a time there where I got there in January 2020. There was a legit time where I didn't see the sun. We got there at 5 a.m. Sun's not up. It's in the winter in the Midwest, so we're leaving at 6. The sun's down. I mean, unless you went outside for lunch, you're not seeing daylight. You're in the weight room all day. But really, it shows you, how bad do you want it? How bad are you? What are you willing to sacrifice? It's not fun. I mean, like waking up at 5 a.m. to make sure a kid's there for, we call it country club. So pretty much at Eastern Illinois, if you did anything wrong, if you missed a class, whatever you did, you had 5 a.m. country club, and you're helping everybody set up the weight room and the field and all that stuff for the workout. And then if we didn't have that, you might clean up the facility. You might do homework. So it really, it shows you, it really, do you really want to do this thing?
Well, okay. Now you're at Wake Forest. You've done a great job. Okay. And I'm going to look for you on the sidelines and things like that at games and things. Now let's talk about your advice. I mean, you're on here because I think you're a tremendous young man, because you do have a story. Now, but it'll get better as more publicized, but you have so much to offer. First of all, go high school. What do you tell a boy in high school? What does he need to do to get ready for college football?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, and it's cliche, but leave no doubt. So, for me, when I ended up signing my national letter of intent with Findlay, a Division II school, I knew I did everything I possibly could do. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when I say that is, I'm saying the biggest where people, struggle adapting to college is, really they struggle first in the weight room. You know what I mean? They don't understand how to lift properly. They don't understand, they don't go in physically strong and whatnot, and they don't understand the actual demands of college football. So you have to, as a high school athlete, you've got to understand, what am I getting myself into? So if you're training, and this is where I credit my high school coaches for this, we train like college players. You know what I mean? We would train 2 to 3 hours a day, in the off season. So when I got to college, I mean, it wasn't easy by any means, but I was adapted to that training. I was used to that training. So, I remember me and my high school coach, we'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We'd get a lift in before school if I had basketball practice that day. We made sure we always got our workout in to say. So, I trained in my opinion, I trained like a college athlete for 3 to 4 years before I got to college. So then that jump, I got to Findlay, and I was already a strong kid. It was now the strength staff's, job to really make me a more explosive kid, a more powerful kid. I was already a strong kid.
And give you some man strength too, probably.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. You mentioned one thing, and these go so fast. We're about 20 minutes here. It goes fast. Tell me, Neal, you mentioned, I think, playing basketball.
Yep.
Okay, you're a 3-sport guy in high school.
Yep.
Give me your thoughts on 2 sports definitely, 3 sports possibly. Now, Teays Valley Division 4 school?
Division 2 in football, 1 and everything else.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Tell us about playing 3 sports.
Yeah, I mean, when I see a 3-sport athlete, I'm thinking this kid's competitive. He loves to compete.
Right.
That was like me. I love to compete. I went into my freshman year playing football, basketball. I actually played baseball, and my football coach was the throws coach. Said, "Listen, man, if you want to be a college football player, you need to go throw the shot put. You're not as explosive as you need to be. Yeah. You can be really good at shot put. You need to go do that, and you can lift with the football team, and then go throw." I'm like, great, this is awesome. Let's go do it. And I went out and I wasn't naturally a good shot putter, but I became a pretty good shot putter, regional qualifier, league champion. But I love
How far?
51 feet 6 inches.
That's pretty good. Okay.
So, but it became fun because I'm competing. At the track meet, I'm seeing the same guy that I'm going to block in the fall. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm beating this guy. I'm gonna beat him one-on-one in the fall. I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna throw the shot put for him right now. You know, but and then basketball players, like I love recruiting basketball players, like these big guys that can play basketball, can jump and shoot, like that stuff. I love that stuff. But I also, for big guys, I love recruiting wrestlers because there's a different grit that requires you to be on the wrestling mat. It's 1v1. You know, seeing guys take down guys, seeing the agility needed to get guys down, and just seeing the toughness and the grit that these wrestlers display. I love multi-sport athletes. And the thing about it is, if you do it right and you train right, you still can get stronger. You still can work out. You just got to do it right.
That's good. That's really good. You know, good. Okay. I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm going to look at my notes, peek down here and see. And what are your goals? And let's end it with that. What are your goals? How old are you?
25.
What are your and happily married with a little 14-month-old baby, or not baby anymore, 14-month child, boy?
Yep, little boy, yep.
Oh, please don't be mean to him and rough him up. I'm joking with you. Okay, so the last question, what is your goals now? What do you want to do? And by the way, from where you started, and I'm not saying, I don't mean this negatively, but from a smaller school program or a solid program at Teays Valley. And by the way, who was one of the best football players to come out of Teays Valley?
Walter Stewart and Champ Henson.
True, he's still coaching. Heck of a coach, by the way.
Walt's a heck of a coach in Cincinnati. He's killing it down there.
Okay, who's an older guy?
Champ Henson.
Champ, you're good.
Champ was the.
Shows you how old I am.
Champ was a fullback. He's now a county commissioner in Pickaway County. He's a good dude. Good guys.
Okay, good job. When they'll talk about you like that someday, tell me what's your goals, and then we'll close her down. What are your goals now?
Yeah, so my goals now is just, I mean, it's cliche, but I want to be the best. I mean, right now, my goal is to be the best offensive line GA in the country. You know what I mean? Like, I want to help make our offensive line and our offense the best it can be right now. And then, you know, in the future, you know, I want to get my own room here in the next year. So, you know, 2024, my goal is to get a Division I offensive line job. And then I want to move up the ranks. I want to coordinate one day. I want to call plays. And then eventually I want to be a Division I head football coach. That's my ultimate goal.
You know what's scary about that is that you might have a chance because you've worked so hard, so fast.
I appreciate it.
I'm believing in you. Okay, Neal Davis, thank you very much for being on my podcast.
Yes, sir. Thanks, John.